Commissioners, at 1 minute to 9 o'clock, I'm going to enable your audio and video. Brandon, start camera and your screen share.
Okay. Will, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I could see you straight in front of me, and then, but I was muted for some reason.
Good morning, everyone. Let's call court to order. Today is Tuesday, May 12th, 2020. It's 9 a.m. Proof of posting, please.
The agenda was posted on Thursday, May 7th, 2020 at 11:05 a.m.
Thank you. Let's pause briefly for a moment of silence, and then we'll have the pledge to the flags. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and
Justice for all.
Pledge to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas,
One state, under God, one and indivisible.
indivisible. Thank you. Okay, on public comments, we did have a caller call in, and he just left me a message that I'd like to relate to you. His name is Jerry Frederick. He owns Heart of Texas Racing out in Elmont. He said that in his organization or association that there were other hot rod racing venues that have opened up, and under the order as they understood it is the same as theaters, where they had 25% occupancy, and of course the participants in the race are in separate cars and those things. We look at it in our understanding of the governor's order is more like a sporting event, such as football or baseball and those things, which will be addressed, I think, a little later in the phases. But we have told Jerry that we would look into this and try to understand what piece of the order that it goes into. And we had no one else call about public comments. Under D, under consideration and or action of the following items, I'd first like to go to item D2, which is Let's see, wait just a minute. I first wanted Elizabeth to call in and give us an update on the COVID-19 activity. So Elizabeth, are you available?
I am. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, get closer to your mic.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect. All right, all good now?
Yes.
Perfect. All right then. Good morning, everyone. As of yesterday, we only had 4 active cases in Mclennan County. We have 1 case that is hospitalized. That case is in critical condition as of yesterday. They are monitoring 74 residents, and there are 86 recovered cases up to this date. And then a little bit about what else is going on. As you guys probably saw on the news yesterday or over the last couple of days, we did have the Texas Military Department come in and do the drive-through testing. We were able to test 226 people. Out of those 226, 207 were Mclennan County residents. And then this Friday, they're actually coming back to do more testing, and that'll be at the West Community / Senior Center. And we'll be doing that this Friday from 8 to 5.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Is there any questions anyone have for Elizabeth?
Yeah, I have a question, Elizabeth. I believe the COVID Waco updated their numbers to that we have tested 4,200 people.
Yes.
Is that individual test, or are those people that are tested multiple times? And do we know where all those people are from and things like that?
So I know I know the numbers that they get from COVID Waco are from the DSHS website, and those numbers tend to lag a little bit. Right. And so I have this update from Christine. As of 5/10, the total completed tests for Mclennan County residents were 4,209. And so those are, and the total tests given by Mclennan County entities were 5,223. And so they're separating, she separates out Mclennan County residents versus just total everyone who could come in here from maybe our outskirting counties. And
is that just individuals tested, or is that maybe somebody who's gotten a test twice or?
I believe some people have been tested twice. They may have had to for either work reasons or, to try to go back to work. But I don't know who all has been tested. Believe that might be HIPAA information. And so I don't want to share that. But I know we've had some people have had to get tested more than once, either to go back to work or they were checking to see if they were positive to release them.
But we don't know if that's broken out on this.
No.
Okay.
And you said there was only 1 right now. There's 1 hospitalized in all Mclennan County.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Jones, I know in talking to the hospital administrators that there are some folks that have been tested multiple times, especially if they're essential workers such as those in hospital and high risk areas, and then of course other people who later on show more symptoms. And as we know that the test is not 100% accurate, so sometimes retesting is appropriate.
Well, I think that we need to know how many people we are testing so that we can get a feel for which way the trend is going. And so that was the reason why I was asking if these were individuals or multiple tests, things like that.
Okay. All right. There's other items on D2 that we'll come back to pertaining to some requests from the JPs, but I'd like to now go back to agenda item D1. And this is discussion or action on extension or revision to the order of declaration of the Mclennan County Commissioners Court declaring a state of disaster and public health emergency for Mclennan County. And so I'd like to call on Mike Dixon and possibly Dustin Chapman to talk about the updates that since the governor's made his announcement, how we've updated, we'll propose to update our order. So Mike?
Primarily what we did was like the city, we took the governor's order and hold on. We took the governor's order and we took those reopened businesses and changes out of the governor's order and put them as amendments to our order so that our order is caught up with where the governor's at this point. So it lists the reopened businesses as being reopened. It gives the dates when different things are going to be allowed to open, just like the governor's executive order. We have the deadline extended to May 19th. And that's purely because we need to have the governor, I think the governor is going to have a flurry of orders on the 18th. So that'll give us an opportunity at the 19th Commissioners Court meeting to take responsive action on what the governor does.
Are there any questions specific to these updates or amendments that anyone might have?
I have one question. Mike, on that section 5, the retroactive for April the 2nd, where we make retroactive the opening of certain businesses. Since that is already in the governor's order, do we have to explicitly specify that in our order?
We're just trying to make sure that our order matches up so that we don't have somebody come in and say, well, you're still regulating us even though we've been released. I mean, I don't know that the retroactive part has to be in it, but that was in the governor's order. And the only reason for that I can understand is if he was trying to release people who had tickets or whatever from that date, that April, 2nd date, that got them between them and now.
Do we have any, do we have any individuals here locally that
I
would?
don't think we have any hair salon people. That was what that was about. We do have some other businesses that have been cited. I think a tattoo shop got cited the other day by the city, and because they weren't specifically listed in the reopened businesses.
You're right, and I think tattoo institutions are still closed. And I guess the reason I'm asking you the question is that for all of those businesses that adhered to the order that was in effect on April 2nd and did exactly what we asked them to do, even though they took a loss of revenue and they were hurt, I think it just adds insult to injury to come back and tell them, hey, you could have been open a month ago. So how do we honor the fact that our businesses here locally adhere to the order they were under? I understand that they opened on Friday, and notwithstanding the situation that may be surrounding the fact that the governor implemented this in his order, since his order is going to stand and take precedence anyway. I'm just wondering.
I agree, Commissioner, I agree wholeheartedly. I think we could go back and take that that retroactive part back out, because the fact is his order didn't open them or didn't provide for them to be open until the later date. And I think there's maybe even some modifying language as to that retroactive, that it makes it for, I don't know, for specific purposes, but regardless, I don't think we have to have it in order. Dustin we can take that out and just, state that just follow the actual date when they were supposed to open.
Okay.
Well, I'm concerned about that, taking that out, because it doesn't mirror what the governor's order did. And that's what when we started out, we started having confusion on that. Those people couldn't have been open, even though it's retroactive back to that date, because the order at that time did not allow them to. It's the order now. And I think the governor did put that in there to address any fines or those things that might have happened in that time frame if somebody would have violated the order. This retroactive goes back and clears them, the way I see it. And so I think that both the city and the county and the local, the other incorporated cities other than the city of Waco, have made their orders match, just because when people read one and then they pick up another and read it, their translation of it changes all over the place. So if we're all on one page, I think it better serves to explain it. And Commissioner, I don't think that they could have been opened all that time, because the order didn't allow them to. So I'm just trying to keep it less confusing by having identical orders in there. We have no authority over over anything that the governor has in his order. Therefore, we should adopt it word for word.
And I can understand that. I think we all know exactly why the governor placed that in the order. My exception to it would be for all of those businesses that adhered to the order they were under, and for all of those businesses that obeyed exactly what state, county, and city governments were asking them to do. And I guess the injustice is at the state level. I just think, again, that it adds insult to injury. And I just don't know how we ask people to participate in a shared sacrifice when we come back and we make exceptions, and then those businesses look on it like, well, I could have been open. And I wonder, how do we even say that to the tattoo individual that received a citation? How do we say some businesses have to adhere to the order and others don't? How do we say that some people have to pay the fine and others don't? I just see the hypocrisy in it, but I understand what you're saying. And I understand why we would do it, but I just want to note for the record that I think it's hypocritical to have that in there. And I just think that we need to thank those businesses that did adhere to the order the way we asked them to. And that's all I have.
Agree with you, Commissioner, very much so. Being ambiguous in explaining this is on the back of the governor, not on us. He is not. He's the one that has changed things around and had to go back and get the Ken Paxton to further explain his orders and those things. So I think the best we can do is just try to mirror whatever his final order turns out to be. But I do agree. I understand exactly what you're saying.
And the thing is, our order is, the reason we keep our order in place is because it has enforceable language and enforcement methods. And what we do is we just change our order as more businesses become reopened. We just change it to take them out of the mix.
Right. Any other questions or comments anyone have? Okay. If not, is there a motion to approve the extension / revision to the order of the declaration of the Mclennan County Commissioners Court?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? I'll second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Thank you. Going to item D2 again. I'd like to call on Lisa Fetch to explain the request for the items for the JPs.
Everyone. We've had a request come through, as the judge said, from the JP offices. They are in need of getting I hope everyone can hear and see me now. So this request is asking for an Adobe Pro license so that these individuals can assist in magistration responsibilities. They are supporting Judge Bain in this responsibility. The three offices requesting for this is Judge Hensley in JP 1.1, Judge Richardson in JP 4, and Judge Villarreal in JP 5. These licenses are $350 each for a total of $50 Technology Fund to pay for this.
Okay, the last part, if you didn't hear that, the total was $1,050, and that comes out of the Justice Technology Fund. And I support this. Anything that we can do to help have more people involved in the magistration, the better it is. They can share the work, then they can spread the work out among all the people that have the authority to do it. And I think it'd be very helpful. Is there any questions or comments about this? If not, is there a motion to approve this request?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any other discussion? No other discussion, call for a vote.
Commissioner Snell,
Aye.
Commissioner Miller,
Aye.
Judge Felton,
Aye.
Commissioner Jones,
Aye.
Commissioner Perry.
Aye.
Pass. Okay, is there anything else to come before the court today? Not? We stand adjourned.